What is up, gentlemen? NYKia31 here, Madden 21. Going to be going over a couple of checks to quarters since the last update. If you look at my previous video, they put in the checks for cover 9 back in the game, and they also fixed quarters solo. So what we want to look at now is quarters checks for bunch and reduced set tight end sets like trips tight end. Now, the most common ways teams would defend these type of formations where you have reduced splits in a bunch set would be a couple of ways. If they go straight man, they do jump concepts and banjo concepts where the slot and the outside corner will switch off, or in a jump concept to help to alleviate crossing routes, the safety would quote unquote cross man the first crosser. Or if they're playing zone or playing match zone, in order to help prevent getting out leveraged by speed outs by number 1 or number 2, they will play box. And there's a couple of ways teams would play box. One way is, I need to get a telestrator. If anyone knows of good telestrator tools, please let me know. But on the bunch side, what you will sometimes have is the corner will play mod, man on deep. So anything vertical outside he would take. Quarter flat would take number 1 to the flat, the first receiver to the flat. 3 rec would take the first receiver in. Strong side safety will either take point man on the bunch side, man-to-man vertical, or first inside vertical threat, because the corner here has man on deep. On the weak side, the solo side corner should be in lock man coverage on number 1. The weak side quarter flat will have the back going to the flat or wheeling down the sideline, because again, this guy's going to be man coverage no matter the route, so that leaves only the quarter flat to account for the back, and he will take the back man-to-man coverage. Weak side safety can do a variety of things. He's the wild card, he's the free guy, he can play robber, he can play middle of the field. He's a good guy to user for crossing routes for those situations or for those reasons. So what you're trying to do on offense, all teams are trying to out-leverage defense. On defense, you want to use your numbers of the strong side to account for quick-hitting flood concepts, speed outs, multi-level flood concepts, rub routes, things of that nature. So on a concept like this, this is a curl flat combo. You're going to have a conflict here because you have 2 receivers, Herndon and Crowder here, flaring out to the flat or taking outside releases to the sideline potentially, but they're breaking their routes off short. Crowder's running a quick little curl route, and Herndon's running a flat route. Hogan is taking an inside release, and he's going to stress the 2 safeties there, and Perryman is running a comeback route. He should be played man-to-man. Oh, come on. Now, another way that teams will play bunch, and again, I'm curious to see how the game handles it, or play box, I should say, would be to have the corner take first out, quarter flat take second out, deep safety take inside vertical, or the point man to the bunch vertical, and the quarter flat take first in. So on a route combination like this, this is bunch curl flat. You're going to have a conflict here for the quarter flat, as you're going to have Crowder and Herndon, the number 2 and number 3 receiver, going to be taking quick releases to the flat. Herndon running a straight flat route, Crowder running a short curl route. Hogan is taking an inside stem from the number 1 receiver spot, and he's going to be attacking the middle of the field. So that safety should be accounting for him, and the middle of the field safety, we'll see if he rotates over or if he's just going to play passive. Perryman's man-to-man. Okay, so it looks like the way they're going to be playing bunch will be the first example of the box check that I mentioned. Man on deep. First to the flat. First in. Point man. Or first inside vertical man to man. Man lock. He rotated the middle of the field. And let him cross him. And the back didn't go out, so the quarter flat looks back inside. Let's put the back into play. So let's put Perman on a slant route. Let's put Gore on a wheel. So you see man on number 1, and now since the back is out and down the sideline, the quarter flat takes him. Not a great transition there by the corner and off coverage. If we press him, that would, you know, give you a better resistance off the line, but, you know, these are the Jets. The corners suck. And with your user with the quarter flat, you can, you know, do stuff as well. Now, you can change him, since that corner on the weak side is going to be man coverage. They tend to have better technique if you do this. If you change him to man coverage. I think that was the case last year. So let's put him back on a slant. Yeah. Now he still gets separation, but he doesn't delay in that transition. Now let's see what happens when you do something like this. Let's try to break it. Let's just send Herndon right down the middle of the field. So you have 2 verticals. Okay. So they're smart enough to have the middle of the field safety when he rotates and there's 2 verticals, so the bunch side take number 3 vertical. Okay. That's what I was hoping I would see. Or if it would cause a bust. See, now the quarter flat is no longer in conflict. First to the flat is Hogan. He takes the curl route. Not Hogan, but Crowder. And he's playing man on deep. And we have number 3 going vertical, so the safety rotates and takes number 3 vertical. And strong side safety, he's taking first inside release vertical. In this case, he has 2 of them. And this is the case where Madden is psychic, and they know what routes are going to be breaking by who. What I would prefer to see, they covered it, but it would make more sense since he IDs Herndon first, would be for him to take him, and then the post is delivered to the weak side safety. But it works. I mean, the game is counting. The game is playing the basic rule. Number 3 vertical, number 2 vertical, or point man, and first out, man on deep. You know, sometimes in Madden, as far as programming goes, simple is the best way to go about these things. Let's put Crowder on the vertical and see what happens. Alright, that's a bit of a problem. The corner is so far outside, and it's plays with awful technique that he lets the vertical go right by him. Madden really struggles with off-coverage technique in general. Like, he's opening up wide, but not opening up deep. That allows him to just streak right by him. Because again, he's going to be taking the point man, or the first inside release. He's looking for number 2. It looks like he wants to recognize this. The ball's already thrown. But he's locked into the first inside stem, which he recognizes as Hogan, and he flies right by him. Because again, once Hogan goes inside to the corner, this guy becomes number 1 vertical. So that's why he's cheating toward him, but he's too far out of position to do anything about it. So that's a, lack of technique issue. Big time there. You can just bomb it right over him. See what happens if you move him inside a couple steps. Even worse, Jesus Christ. Let's see if we press, what happens. Press both corners up. Even worse, that's a problem. Clint! 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 Another thing to look out for is that if the back goes in out of the backfield, not always the best transition for the quarter flat. He opens up wide and then, see how late he is? It doesn't really hurt him in that case, but that's an angle route. That could be a problem. Again, just a real ugly transition. You could man him up with the linebacker. And, you get much better there. Again, it's just a matchup issue there, but at least you don't have those false steps wide. We understand why it is. He has to account for flat wheel, but if he's going to be man coverage on the back, if the back goes out, then, so be it. Then you'd have to make other changes or be on alert with your user to, compensate for that void. Like if you're using the weak safety, maybe take a peek toward what's coming, either shallow cross, wise, or whatnot, or the 3-rec do the same thing. Or you can, take a guy here, an edge rusher, and drop him into a flat zone. You can do stuff in order to, correct flaws as far as that kind of thing is concerned. Inside cross, this kind of route combo. There's a combination where the back's going to be going inside, shallow cross, wheeler by number 3, number 2, vertical square in. So what should happen here, again, Herndon's going to be first shooting out the flat, but he's going to be wheeling out of the backfield. So the quarter flat should take him straight man. Hogan will be released under. He should be running into the 3-rec. And Crowder going vertical for that square in should be matched by the strong side safety. Okay. All right, first of the flat is Herndon. Quarter flat takes him. He's going to take him out and up, so he's going to be doubled by him in the corner. May takes the point man, the bunch, man to man. Not very well. Off coverage, transition, plus, matchup. That's a problem. And again, that's also a problem because the weak side safety is pretty passive and doing much. This situation where, based off of, route combo, he can easily play robber here and cut this. Back coming out of the backfield inside. Again, quarter flat opens up to the outside first to protect the flat or wheel route, so there's a leverage issue there. And the quarter flat's in conflict as well. The 3-rec's in conflict as well, because this would be delivered to him, but there's no one to account for, Herndon here, so he has to take him. He kicks him way, way, way too late. So that's a, situation where you have the 3-rec conflicted by multiple unders. I mean, there are technique issues. At the time, May played it a little bit closer. But, Crowder's the best receiver on the Jets by a lot. So I don't expect Marcus May to be able to cover him, consistently. I mean, that was a little bit better, but again, in the real world, this safety would be looking to drive on that downhill. Play action post. Herndon is first the flat again. Crowder is running a over route. Hogan running a post route. Or this corner post route. Safety takes him. And that clears out the one-on-one shot, which Detcher does a good job of topping. Really good job of topping. Let's do something like this. Alright, I did a good job. I tried to bust it up there. Man lock. Back to the flat and up the sideline. There's no one to the flat. He's taking the point man on the bunch. And he's got number 3 vertical. Let's change who's number 1 to the flat. Let's put Crowder on an out route here. Let's put Herndon on a square in. That was interesting. First the flat he takes. He's got man on deep. Strong side safety. That's number 3 vertical now, so he passes him off to the weak side safety, who drops him. That's weird. One of these two should have him, and the other should be going to the middle of the field. One of the two. Since he's number 3 vertical, technically he should take him. If they're going to be consistent with that, and then he should be providing some deep help, or since number 2 goes under, he could bracket number 3 vertical. Or he can drop to the middle of the field. One of the two, but he does neither. Let's send him up the field. Okay. He took number 3 vertical, and that time he bracketed the post route. Let's motion Hogan out. Let's go back to this curl flat play. So this should trigger the corner to play man on deep. And nothing should change between the quarter flat on the strong side. There's no number 2 vertical or inside vertical anymore since the split is wider. So Desier plays man to man. He just kind of spot drops. They both kind of spot drop, which I don't really love. Just be active. Do something. He at least runs his push out into him. Pat's with play action post. Let's see if he releases him if we split him out. Alright, that time it gets delivered to the quarter flat there. So what ends up happening here is that it looks like they're playing just straight up special check. With no number 2 vertical, he just kind of drifts. He goes under and gets delivered to the quarter flat there. Not special, solo. If it was palms, it'd be special. Let's put him under. Yeah, he releases the under. Now, if that was palms, I wonder if they're going to trigger a special check there. Let's find out. It looks like they're playing straight solo check there in that situation. That's the trips check for quarters. For palms, it would be special. Let's see if they play special. We're in palms now, so number 1 on the trip side is man locked. So yeah, now he's going to play, yeah, they're playing special in that situation. They split that guy out. The game is recognizing it as a normal trip set. So they'd be playing solo if you were playing quarters and special if you were playing palms. Let's see how they play Pat Sale. Alright, Pat Sale, number 3 to the flat. You have Crowder, number 2 vertical, and you have Hogan taking an inside stem before breaking outside. So, quarter flat should take, again, first out. The safety is going to be a bit of a conflict there. He has 2 inside verticals, potentially, here. And the corner should at least be giving him some help outside. That corner route should be delivered right to him. And we have Drifty Land. And we actually might have 2 guys wide open because of bad technique. I mean, you can absolutely get this throw here. You can bomb all those guys there. Because of just bad transition animation-wise. And the outside corner, even worse, he's going into drift land. So it leaves the linebacker having to account for that corner route, which is a horrible matchup. Because that... yeah, he's not gonna be able to cover that. Now, in Mutt World, that's a safety. So, you know, that changes things. But again, it's just not good... replication of the scheme, technique-wise. Like, I like how active the 3-rec is. It's just a bad matchup for him. This should be delivered right to the corner, and he needs to be playing... the number 2, the point man here, vertical. I mean, granted, he's in conflict here. What should happen here is that he should be midpointing these 2 routes here. He should be, you know, his drop should be here instead of cheating inside with these false steps. Because he has a middle of the field safety here, but he's conflicted here with a post route. So it's a combination of a good route design, but it's also bad technique being played out. Horrible technique here. Oblivion here by the corner. Bad technique here. That allows him to part them. And to make matters worse, the weak side safety is not very dynamic here in this situation. Because you can throw it right in front of him like I just did there. You can, you know, do this. That's very completable. And, you know, you have a mismatch here. So all kinds of issues because of the fact that the corner and the safety on the strongest side are just playing with horrible technique. Let's put the back into play. So now you have, you know, yeah, he's taking the wheeler. Now, if you're playing, you know, cover 6, nothing would change rules-wise. Let's say you're playing cover 6. Whoops, come on. You know, you're playing trap 2 on the weak side. Nothing will change there. In this case, because you do have just one vertical threat. So he's going to be matching that route vertically, and then you just have your normal quarters rules here on the strong side. So still be boxed there on that side. And still, you know, you still have the same problems. And let's review our trap 2 rules here. Corner has number 1 vertical. Unless number 2 goes to the flat, then he jumps him. Jumps the flat. And the safety actually does a very good job of topping that. I'm actually surprised he did that because in cover 2 sync they don't. Let's put him on a route here. The flat, empty the backfield. Yeah, he does a good job of topping that. Why don't they do that in cover 2 sync, though? In cover 2 sync, he'll just let them cross his face. You know, he sinks back to his depth. If number 2 does not break to the flat, he just takes a man-to-man. He takes number 1 vertical man-to-man. Number 2 goes to the flat. He peels back to the flat. And the deep half safety now is responsible for number 1. And he does a really good job here topping this post route. Much better than they usually do. Not in love with the depth of the vertical hook here. It's not bad depth, actually. Let's see. He's on the 32. He gets... Yeah, that's fine. Because, again, he's going to carry this to him. We're okay with that. Again, sometimes in real time, you see it differently than you do when you slow it down. Now, let me just show you the difference for that same route combination to the weak side with cover 2 sync. And watch how badly it gets played. We'll do the same damn thing. And if it's a flat route as opposed to that route, it's no difference. We're going to straight cover 2 sync. Now the mid-read should get some good depth here, but I'm more concerned with how the safety plays and if he's just going to stare at the post route. Yeah. He just stared at it. Only thing that saved him was the mid-read having eyes in the back of his head. Because the mid-read's going to open up strong. To the strong side. Cheats to the strong side because there's vertical threats here. So this safety has to top this route here, but he doesn't. In cover 6, he does. Why the difference? Only thing that prevents it from being a completion is, you know, psychic defender once the ball's in the air, because his back's turned to the ball. He should not be able to see this. This should be a completion. But in Madden, the defenders have ESP, and he's able to break on that. Now, I used to really like cover 9 versus bunch. before they ruined the solo check, but they since put it back in. It's now playable. Reason why I really liked cover 9 versus bunch is the solo side receiver is accounted for man-to-man coverage. The back is accounted for by a quarter flat. So you can do a lot of things here on the strong side to prevent crossing routes. You can put this guy into a mid-read or a middle third and use this guy to account for over routes, as well as, use this guy and jam the hell out of the point man, the bunch. And you have, your trap 2 concept here as well. And that covers pretty much everything there. Post routes accounted for. The flat, the corner does a good job here of midpointing here, actually, because he has this coming at him. The 3 rec for intermediate and shallow crossers, and good depth here by the vertical hook. If you wheel the back out of the backfield, you got that accounted for as well, the quarter flat there. The only place to throw that ball is into the flat. Pat's curl flats. You got a conflict there because the deep pass safety just watches him. He squats in the curl. He opens up. This is cut off. The 3 rec is opening up to the strong side. He gets really, really wide. He does not get very good depth at all here in his drop. He's on the 32. He doesn't even get, he gets barely past the 35. He's on the 37. That's horrible. And he just watches this guy just go to the sideline. So there are some weaknesses there. Let's run a deep post. Good job at topping that. So sometimes they top, sometimes they don't. It's just bizarre. They top better. They top the post route at a C6 and C9 properly. They don't do it at a C2 sync. That's perfect. That's exactly how a cover 2 deep half safety should play that in that situation. I can promise you, he does not watch him cross his face. He's delivered to the quarter flat. Man coverage, man lock. 3 rec opens up strong, looks for something to do. And on the strong side, the corner, he kind of midpoints the vertical and the flat route. On the solo side, he'd be playing Trap 2 rules. Trip side, it's a little bit different. Alright, so we took a look at box. Now we'll do cut. Cut is a check for any trip set where the tight end is in a reduced split, like trip's tight end flex, or a nub, like trip's tight end. Anything where he's not split out wide in a trip set. In a situation like this, or a set like this, you'll see a what's called a cut check. What will happen here on the weak side, if the tight end goes under, the weak side safety will rob his route. Reason being, or the logic behind that, is that on the trip side, the 3-rec is potentially in conflict with mesh concepts. You know, clear outs by number 1 and number 2, and multiple underneath routes. Since the safety will be cutting the underneath tight end route, the corner replaces him in his drop. And the quarter flat, he has back to the flat and down the sideline. And nothing will change as far as the strong side corner and safety. They'll be playing 2-read rules there. Corner will be playing man on deep, number 2 vertical, number 3 vertical. Let's see how it plays out. Couple of good things, couple of issues. Start the strong side here. Man on deep takes the post route. Strong side safety. Has no number 3 vertical. Brackets that. That is Excelente. Number 2 vertical. Takes him. This is the 3-rec here. He's very active. He takes the first crosser, which is going to be him. Again, the tight end is going to be covered by the cut check. We'll get to the cut check in a second. So he's very aggressive here. He kind of gets picked off of the delay route, which causes the separation here. You know, the quarter flat just kind of gets in his way. But if you're usering, I mean, you would just take this all the way. Cut check here. Not great transition. I mean, he's got to when he's under, he's just got to go downhill. Forget these, you know, lateral steps here. You just got to go downhill. Because you can't assume help with the quarter flat side, on the strong side. Because if he's got vertical, there's no one here to help you. And the corner here replaces his drop. Now, let's see what happens when you move him closer to the line, or closer inside. See if that helps him out. Better. So you can do that. Like you can move him to the hash. Much better. Let's fiddle around with this a little bit. Let's put Barrios up the field. See what happens. We'll move him closer. Okay. Got a lot of time for that post to, cross the field. That's going to take a year and a day. I just want to see if anyone gets just completely turned loose. Now, if the tight end goes vertical, then he should be covered by two guys and still catch the ball. Lord Almighty. Christ Almighty, guys. Come on. Technique, man. Technique. Just too flat-footed for too long. Inside, why is he flat-footed for this long? Look at all this. Look at all this wasted motion. Okay, fine here. Inside step. Now, what is all this? Why is he shuffling back out? Technique, 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 Madden. Gotta clean up technique, man. Pass wide post. You got multiple unders there, so the 3-rec is going to be in a world of, conflict. That's just, route conflict. Shoots to the flat. Number 1 vertical. He plays middle of the field. He's playing man on deep. Actually does a good job of kind of selling that he's going to be playing under. Sinks inside. Breaks out. I actually like that. I like the deception there on that, actually. I mean, not technically sound, but, whatever. And you have 2 unders here. He carries him to the hash, which I like. Again, be active before passing him off. But he gets open, but it takes some time. That's the way match coverage looks. It should look like an amoeba. Guys just kind of flowing in motion and passing dudes off. Slot corner. This has major bust potential. Okay, that didn't bust. I mean, the drag takes a while to get going. The 3-rec's got to take that. I mean, I kind of get why the 3-rec is late because, again, as a user, you can see that right away. You can see the drag is coming right away, and you'd be able to, cut that. Again, he's opening up strong side, and he's trying to provide a cushion. Where is he? Where are you? Here you are. He's trying to provide a cushion between this release and the safety. He's trying to protect the safety a little bit. Now, once he breaks out, then he can cut underneath. Now, as a user, you'll be able to see that a lot sooner. You can just, play that really aggressively. I do that all the time. I get so many picks on outside on drag routes. It's hilarious. So, I mean, again, better than it has been, but still has some technique issues. Over route here, corner route, twin unders. Good job of the weak safety there. I like the weak safety rotating and then cutting off that over route. Be active, weak safety. That's all that we really want here. He releases a tight end vertical and out because the corner's there. He goes to the middle of the field. So what does this become? This basically becomes sky coverage because he's playing man on deep. He just kind of, walks. He just kind of just chills out here. He carries until the hash and then drops off. Strong side safety recognizes his vertical here and takes it, or looks like he's going to take it. Then he drops off. I don't know why he does that. Probably because knows he has help here. I like that in this situation. The safety is smart enough to rotate and take that. And again, the 3-rec is late because he's trying to cushion the release, which leaves that open early. So conceptually, they're getting closer. Technique, they have ways to go still at EA. That's the final frontier with EA Sports. Technique and consistent logic. They're getting closer conceptually, but they really struggle in animation transition and consistent logic out of your defenders. So, that is that. That is box, and that is cut. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.